All right. Welcome, everyone. Season 2, episode 35. Another year, another failure. This podcast is brought to you by Pensive Technology. Go to pensivetechnology.com. Internet, Ethernet, home automation, security cameras. Chris can do all of those. So head over to pensivetechnology.com if you are in the market for one of those. He wired the garage. It's been awesome. The next one is we're going to talk about Yards a little bit for a moment here. So Yards, we've teamed up with them all season. We're all drinking Yards beers. Everyone has different ones. It's on tap here at the garage. So I'm having High Dive. I saw the fellows had a bunch of different ones. So Yards is absolutely awesome. If you haven't gone there, check them out. They just released this, I'm not a pale ale person, but they released a pale ale sampler pack today. It looks good if you like pale ales, I think. And, I think it's available only there, but check your local, distributor. If they don't have it, ask them. They'll get Yards in there. The next one is, and I'm wearing the shirt, so Hidden Stills Spirits. They are making bourbon, vodka, rum, tequila, ready-to-drink cocktails, which we had plenty of. Everyone loved every one of them. So there was vodka soda, bourbon lemonade, bourbon ginger, the Steelers ones, which I think were bourbon lemonades. There is Palomas. They're doing awesome stuff. Their bourbon is top-notch. I prefer their rye whiskey because I like to have old fashions, and I just think rye is the best in old fashions. So thank you to Hidden Stills for being a partner and teaming up with us. All right, so let's get into it, right? Because I'm going to tell a true story, and Dugan can attest to this. I didn't want to come on today. I was so pissed off yesterday. And I wouldn't say pissed off. I would say I was just disappointed. And I didn't want to talk about this. I'm not surprised, right? I mean, are any of us surprised here? What happened? Not really. We kind of felt it. It's one of those things where we're going to talk a lot about it today. And just to kind of it's more of what do we do next, but what went wrong type of stuff. And some I told you so's I think are coming. I'm just going to, here is my main point that I want to get through. I want to say some words to you, and I want you guys to tell me, and, people are listening, do the Phillies have these type of hitters? How about moxie, savvy, pesky, smart, spark plug, or clutch? Anyone?
Nope.
Clutch, I would say Harper's clutch. I would Harper in the clutch.
Yeah. And Castellanos has 5 walk-offs, so I would say
he's Castellanos,
to a point. Yeah.
But the rest of them, it's that moxie. It's that, just being a pesky hitter. I don't think we have a pesky hitter. I can't think of one. And
I would say Stott last year, but definitely not this year. I mean, how many 2-out hits did he have last year? And this year, he just looked lost from day one.
2 out and 2 strike, but it's
just 2 strike. Yeah, 2 strike hits.
On a very small sample size, Cody Clemens, I think you could call pesky, but very small sample size.
Right. Yeah, he didn't get a chance, and will he ever? We'll kind of get into that because, I mean, just a complete failure. So I wrote this article. And it's called A Tale of Two Seasons. So if you haven't gone on the page, check it out. I'm pretty proud of it. I think it's mostly on point. You can agree or disagree, but I think that you're going to say, wow, this is how I feel, or this is kind of what's moving towards. Just an absolute failure. 5 through 9 batted, and I have the number here if you guys do. I think it was 5 through 9 batted 116. 116 in the fucking playoffs. It's just 8 for 69. The rest of the team didn't do much better. So outside of Bryce Harper and Nick Castellanos, the Phillies were 13 for 100. Now, you don't have to be Copernicus to know that that's a 130 average, right?
Yeah.
So guys, the other thing is, I had a bad day today. Bad day yesterday. So I haven't done any household duties except for the lawn stuff for, I don't know, for honestly 162 games plus 25 or so spring training, and then the 4. So I put together a desk today. Fuck desks. Like I just they bring it into the fucking house. Now you got 1,000 screws. It's in fucking 20 languages. So as I'm getting it, it's in the garage behind the refrigerator, underneath the stairs. So that's where my beer stash is. So I'm like pulling it out. I have like old Mad Elves and one broke. So now this whole fucking garage is with Mad Elf. I don't even drink it. So like, that pissed me off. How are you guys feeling? How do you feel different or the same from today and yesterday?
I can go first. So last night, I think at first just dejected and kind of disappointed, like you said, but then I got a little bit angry that we didn't do anything too different from the years prior, and we've been over that. But like that made me angry. That's their job as management and players to do something a little bit different. And I will say today, as opposed to yesterday, I feel a little bit better because I de-decorated. Like I took my Fanatic blow up down and put them away. I took the flag down, the Phillies flag. I left our flag up in the yard. And I took the Phillies wreath and I put the Penn State wreath back up. And, like tried to move on to the next drunk Flyers fans, you know what I mean, with opening day tomorrow. So I'm sure I'll feel dejected and disappointed for a while, but also today you'll laugh maybe, laugh at me maybe. I'm looking forward to the first thing they do to make a change. And so when is that coming? Is that soon? Is that like this weekend? Is it in a month? I don't know, but I'm kind of anticipating what I think we're going to talk about here in a little bit with some changes. So that's kind of been my thing today.
Yeah, I mean, I was totally deflated last night, Mike. After that game, I came home and I deflated my Fanatic as soon as I got home from the garage. I walked right up, pulled the plug, and said, "That's how I feel, and you ain't staying up all night, pal, because I know I'm going to be all night thinking about this game." Today, I got angry. I got really angry because I thought about mid-season. The Mets were fucking garbage. They were a garbage fucking team mid-season. They were one of the worst teams in baseball. They made changes. They made adjustments. Sean Manaea reinvented himself as a pitcher, and he's dominant. The Phillies can't even get Alec Bohm to take a fucking pitch. And the Phillies made zero adjustments. Zero adjustments. When shit started going south after London, after the All-Star break, nothing changed. Nothing changed. Their approach to the game didn't change. The hitters' approach to their at-bats didn't change. So the handwriting was on the fucking wall. If we ran into a team like the Mets that were hot, were playing good ball, that knew how to get the Phillies out, didn't even have to throw fucking strikes to get them out, the Phillies were going to be useless. And it played out exactly the way we thought it would. And the fact that they can't make adjustments, it's so when you look at the Mets just totally revamped their entire team, brought up guys from AAA that, Iglesias and the third baseman who, I can't even fucking remember his name, but killed the Phillies in this series, just fucking killed them. And the Phillies couldn't make adjustments with all these big time stars that they have in this lineup. And the other thing is, can we
change their leadoff hitter?
Yeah. Can we stop calling these guys fucking daycare? I mean, Alec Bohm's fucking 28 years old. He acts like a 5-year-old when he pops out, slamming his helmet, fucking throwing his bat down. Daycare. 27, 26, 28. That's how old those fucking three guys are. Let's stop calling them the fucking daycare. Tell them to start acting like men and act like professional ball players.
I had 3
Yeah.
kids and 2 ex-wives by 28.
Yeah, no shit.
Yeah,
That's not true, but-
I'm with you both. I'm normally one like, fuck you, dickhead, and yelling at the TV. And I did a couple times, but me and Steve were watching at the Great American Pub out in Conchie. One thing I'm going to say is Steve Mold, our buddy, good friend of the show, going to tell you one thing probably Diane doesn't tell you. You were right, my friend. Unfortunately, you were right. You saw the bats were cold coming into the series, and if we lost game 1, we were going to drop it, and we were like, calm down, Steve, calm down, Steve. But unfortunately, what you were saying came true, and what the Mets did, we do a lot of fuck the Metsing around here, and I'm going to say this just for now, and it's not overall. It's FTP. Fuck the Phillies. It's not the Mets' fault that their manager outmanaged Topper. It's not the Mets' fault that they played small ball and you didn't. It's not the Mets' fault that they found a way to fight and battle through, even though their pitching staff was stretched out and tired as fuck. It's I don't see any changes from last year. They decided to roll it back, and when your only deadline moves are Hayes and Estevez, that's not a needle mover for me. And we said it at the deadline. It's like at the time we were like, okay, Hayes might be a sneaky move. He was hurt half the time, and when he was playing, he can't hit righties. I mean, he's okay defensively. He's not like a stud out there. I'm totally disgusted. And like Dukin said, Manaea used to be a joke, like a double-digit loss and win guy, like a 10 and 11 guy every year, like a Rich Hill type dude. You know what I mean? Like he'd be like at the end of the year, he'd be like 10 and 11 with like a 3-something ERA. He took like a year or so and changed it up, and he dominated us. And when we had a chance to jump on him, we didn't. I'm just deflated right now. I'm not ready to. I'm kind of angry. I feel it, but I'm not ready to just go, off and like an Adam Bond yet. I'm more like in the depression and frustrated mode. But
yeah, I get you. So, guys, I think that there's a clubhouse problem. I really do, and I'm going to explain what I think, and I want you to tell me if you think anything different, right? So, when Harper doesn't run out of ball and doesn't sit, but then Bohm pouts and sits, there's favoritism there, right? Like, I think that that's an issue. When they're throwing Walker, and I don't know whose choice it is, but ultimately I think Rob Thompson can say, no, I'm not throwing this guy. I'm just not doing it. Throw Allard, bring up Mac Lazar. Who gives a shit? I think that there's some type of problem. I heard Estevez constantly like not referring to his teammates as we. It was they. They had a great season. They did this. So I wonder if there's some type of divide that we're not aware of. The second thing is Alec Bohm, and we'll talk to this a little bit later, but his interview at the end of the game yesterday was fucking mind-boggling to me. Like, it is what it is. That was his first thing he says. Hey, you know what? It is what it is. Well, you know what, Alec? It's not is what it is to us. Like, we poured our heart into the entire season. We do every season. It is what it is. And then, I just swing. I see it in the strike zone and I swing. Okay, and I'm not going to change. This is what got me here. So, like, is that the attitude that's just kind of like pervading the entire clubhouse? And there's one person that can stop that. So what do you guys think? Is there a clubhouse issue?
I think the clubhouse issue is there's a leadership issue. There is no leader. Like Harper's really, I don't. Harper does, leads by example on the field and like with his play and all. I don't think there's anybody that reaches down and has a pair to say and get in their ass because Topper's not going to. But you need that leader to fire everybody up when you're down or getting your ass when you're playing sloppy and hurting the team. I don't think we have that. And if we did have that, it might be Schwarber, but I don't see anybody. That's what I think. I think there's a leader. There's no leader in the clubhouse or a group of leaders, I should say. And that attitude problem with a couple guys like Bohm. See, I didn't watch the post game interview, so I can't speak on it. But if he's saying that kind of stuff, and he's one of my favorite players, I got to call him out on it. I mean, I can't be biased. That's jerk off attitude. Excuse my language. That's a jerk off attitude to take. If you're not performing, you have to adjust. So he has to adjust in the off season, but they all have to adjust. But when it comes down to it, I think it's
Chris or Mike. What if Bohm's on your team and he's pouting? What are you guys doing? We all played at high levels. What are you doing to this guy when he's acting like that?
Yeah, I mean, it's tough. I think you almost want to just distance yourself from him. I think I don't want to be associated with this guy acting this way. I know he's my teammate and all, but it's just terrible. It's a terrible look. Either that, and I kind of agree with John. I don't think they have a vocal leader in that clubhouse. I don't think there's a guy like a Dutch Dalton type or a Larry Boa type that's going to get up a guy's ass when he's doing that kind of shit. I mean, you saw Harper on the bench a few games, the last couple games of the season, go his arm around Bohm, trying to I guess that's one way to do it, the soft touch. But I think sometimes you got to put your foot up somebody's ass and tell them dude, no, you can't act like this. Pick your shit up, let's go. We need you. You're batting fucking fifth, in our lineup. We need you. And the kid shit the bed the last two playoffs. He shit the bed the last two playoffs. So I understand being frustrated, but you can't be open like that and look like a fucking little whiny bitch. Yeah. And then say that shit, I'm not going to change. It is what it is. I'm an aggressive hitter. It's different if you're, it's kind of the same approach Castellanos takes. He just sees the ball and swings. But Castellanos has a little bit of a pedigree of 20-plus home runs. Bohm does it. You're a singles hitter, dude. You're a singles gap hitter. You're up there to make contact and hard contact and put the ball in play and drive in runs, not to fucking ground out to third base because you keep swinging at cutters in on your hands the first pitch. He's got to be smarter. He's got to be able to adjust. And the fact that he's saying, I'm not going to change, that's when you need someone to put a foot up your ass, and say, yeah, you are going to change. We need you to change. To do something for your team here, stop being fucking a selfish hitter. And I think that's the problem with the team. There's too many selfish hitters on the team. Everybody's looking to hit 400 fucking feet rather than just hit the ground ball to move the guy up or hit the sac fly to drive in the run. Everybody wants to be the hero on this team. It's hero ball, swing from our asses 1 through 9, and it's failed. The World Series, they weren't supposed to be there and they lost to a better team. But the last 2 years, I think they've lost to teams that they're better than. And it's an indictment on that lineup that they didn't get it done.
Yep.
If I'm the manager, I'm pulling Bohm aside and I'm trying to understand, the psychology of it. And I'm sure they have some sort of team psychologist or sports psychologist or whatever, but he's going to see whoever that is. And I'm straightening him out on that. I'm an aggressive hitter in the strike zone. Well, then you don't know what the strike zone is because there were so many pitches that in that stretch where he had 6 at-bats where he saw 8 pitches that they weren't even close to strikes. And, you can spike your bat and spike your helmet, but when you're swinging at a pitch that you have to literally pull your hands all the way into your chest, that's not a strike. So, I don't know.
So we'll stay on Bohm. I'm going to go back to Chris. Can Bohm return? Should Bohm return?
I hate to give up on somebody who, he's kind of been an RBI guy for us the last 2 years. But, he made a couple of defensive mistakes in this series at third, where he just looked like he didn't know what he was doing. I'm afraid that the struggle he has with the bat were now moved into the field, and if he's going to be an immature ball player like that can't separate the two, play defense when you're playing defense, be on offense when you're on offense. I mean, I don't know if his value is ever going to be higher than it is right now, coming off the season that he did. If you can get something for him, I would. 'Cause I think you need more power out of your corners anyway. I don't think he gives you enough power, especially because you didn't get anything from your outfield. So you got to find power where you can find it, and he might be an interesting piece that can get you somebody.
Do any of you guys want Bohm to stay?
So the word want is I don't know what you would call it, electric. I think he's very arbitration cheap, and I think we have a lot of contracts that are very steep, and so that makes it a little bit attractive to bring him back. That's my only concern. I agree with Dugan's assessment of, hey, can we get something for him? Probably so right this minute, but that arbitration number is low, and we probably need a couple of contracts with some folks who can add value that are lower with the ones that we're carrying right now.
So, Mike, that's a
Yeah.
good point. And what I would say is, and here's my kind of like, okay, I get that. We got guys in the minors, right? Like, could we do something somehow to make, I don't know, Cody Clemens, Sosa, Aiden Miller play and fuck Bohm, and we can get a starter for him or fill in the outfield? The outfield's a disaster, and we'll get to that. So, like, when you have that commodity, is this the time to like say, you know what, he's not working out? Like, he's already had issues. I hate this place. And, he stood up and we thought he was okay, but he's an asshole. He just really is. You can tell it. And he's just smug. To me, I don't agree with he's cheap, so we should keep him. Right? Because it's not our money.
Yeah.
And you don't like the guy. Mike, you can't like Alec Bohm.
I
His
don't,
attitude.
but
Yeah.
and I
you
know it's
can't.
not my money, but they didn't spend their money on a real closer either this year. So, why do I think that they're going to go out and try and get,
Yeah.
Bregman?
I think the funny thing is, though, if we were having this conversation at the All-Star break, all four of us would love Alec Bohm.
Oh yeah.
It's the second half where something changed in him, in his attitude, and his production. Quite frankly, dropped. And again, a second straight year where he was invisible in the playoffs. That all contributes to how we're all. What have you done for me lately, Alec? And it hasn't been much. And I think that changes your perception of him. But I am ready to move on from, because I think you have to move on from something has to change in this roster. Something has to change.
And he has value.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You guys know I've always been a big Bohm guy, and I mean, but to your point, Dugan, in the second half, I've kind of, and especially the playoffs, I kind of soured on him, and then his attitude with the snapping and throwing bats, and throwing, helmets and all this shit, and the pouting and all these tantrums. Dude, what are you, like 28? You're going to be 30 soon in a couple of years? Like, grow the fuck up. Everybody goes through a slump. Just, eat it. If you're a professional, eat it and just adjust. Try to adjust and be better. But I don't know. I heard a stupid rumbling earlier today. Someone said we should try to trade Bohm for Arenado. Yeah. Does Arenado have a better glove? Yeah, but he's more expensive and he's old. And we have an age problem too, which we can get to a little later or now or whatever. It's going to be Jurassic Park soon. These guys are all in their fucking 30s. There's got to be a shakeup. There's got to be some kind of youth. And to your point, Chris, I think Miller's going to be up sooner than later. He's coming for Stott or Bohm. Whoever's struggling next year, do I want Bohm here next year now that I see his attitude? No. But do I think he's going to be here? Yeah, because I don't think they're going to find anybody else just for now. But Miller's coming from one of those spots, I think. Like if Stott starts to struggle again next year, or Bo, whoever, he's going to take one of those spots.
Guys, I'm going to go to some comments before we get to the next point. So let's see. Nancy, it's a sad day in Phillies land. Fuck the Mets. We might have to do the fuck the Mets counter still. Fuck the Phil's cold Mets. Fuck Kevin Long. Harry with the fuck the Mets.
Harry.
Beth of Bet's Triples is not A-OK. None of us are. I know that you pour your heart and soul into it, Beth. You're probably at 80 of the 81 games at home.
She's in a brewery right now, too.
Oh, so Mike will appreciate this one. Can we sign Bauer now? Asking for a pissed off fan.
Yo, Mike.
Mexico.
Hey!
We've had New Mexico, but it's awesome. Chico, we love that.
Welcome.
So
Buenos tardes.
Papa John.
There we go.
Someone would fucking listen to me after 2 years, need pitching. Nancy, I appreciate you like understanding, but like I feel like, you know, just being honest, because like that's what I said yesterday. I was like, I just don't want to talk about this. But you know, they were horrible. The Mets pitchers threw into the dirt, and you know, the Phillies kept swinging. Zero plate discipline. It's absolutely true. Scott's feeling empty. I get that. We had a lot of empties yesterday too. Thank God today was the recycling. Because you know, that was nice. See, this is the type of stuff I like to see. So Fred's already like, fuck the Mets pitchers and catchers in February.
Oh, man.
I'd like 80% of the pitchers and catchers to change, but you know, I think we're going to kind of get to that. I think this is the butcher. I was gutted when the game ended because it was the Mets. Today he was irritable all fucking day. Now I'm just done with the 2024 Phillies. They proved our worst instincts to expect a loss. Yeah, that's.
I mean, isn't the butcher always irritable?
I mean, yeah. I mean, it's not his fault, kind of, because like he's still like, you know, this fucking asshole's calling me the butcher like 30 fucking years later. Like, I mean, grow the fuck up.
We love you, butcher.
Mike, is Turner's contract the worst in baseball?
Yeah. So it probably is up there. I mean, does Bobby Bonillas count?
I mean, yeah, but like when you think about money wise, like I think it's not even close, right? Because he's getting I don't know what it is. It's
a million a year, I think.
Yeah, it's a 30.
He's getting $1 million a year from the Mets, and he's getting something from the Orioles too. Still,
I do have like kind of a little. I saw something online, and I want to kind of try and expand on it. So we have a center field problem, right? This guy has flashes of brilliance, clearly at the plate. He's very fast. Can we teach Turner? Can we teach Turner to play center field?
well, he has.
Go catch the ball in center field. Then we need to teach him how to bunt. And we need to teach him how to hit the other way and move guys along. And then, I don't know, maybe it ratchets down from the worst contract to the second worst. I don't know. But that's just, I didn't hear a rumor. I read a rumor online like, hey, should we try him in center field? And I just kind of tacked on all the hitting stuff myself, because
I'm good with left fields. Center fields, I'm not okay with.
He's a little older now, like, because he has played some games. I don't know. I forget how many games. He did play some games at center field for the Dodgers, I think. Or I don't know if he played there for the Nationals. But I know he's played some games there at center. But I'm with Chris. I'm more comfortable at left field because, like, just his age. And, you know, I don't think he has the range and the speed for center field.
He's one of the fastest guys in the whole entire league.
I know, but he's getting older. It's just you can't put him there for. What I'm saying is you can't put him there for long. Like you can put him out there for like maybe 2-3 years, but then you're gonna have to move him again. So might as well just put him at left. That's just my.
How many
opinion.
more years we got? 9, 8.
something like that.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
I think it's 9. Because wasn't it an 11-year? It was an 11-year
Yeah.
deal, right?
11
Yeah,
years,
nine-
300
nine more
300 million.
I mean, I think eventually he's going to be a second baseman. I don't think he stays at shortstop more than another season or two.
Yeah.
We've seen that deficiency in his defense. He played okay in the playoffs. He was good at short, although he almost flipped that ball over Stott's head last night on the double play. But I mean, again, he's another guy. Before he got hurt, he was hitting like 350, and he looked like he was going to have a great season for the Phillies, and then he got hurt, and then the average just started going down, 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 down. A guy again who early in the season was hitting the ball the other way, Mike, was hitting singles to right field, doubles to the gap, and then he became pull happy, and you saw it through the whole series with the Mets, trying to pull everything and rolling balls over, popping balls out, to right field because he's pulling off and hitting it off the end of the bat. I mean, if these guys just stayed within themselves, there was a reason you were hitting 350, dude. Go back to that. That was the hitter you need to be, and that's the hitter the Phillies need you to be. But again, you want to play hero ball and hit the ball over the left field fence all the time. And, it's tough because, he's not getting any younger. He's already starting to have the hamstring issues this year, which took away one of his best assets, his speed. He couldn't steal bases when he came back. It took him weeks and weeks and weeks to even try to steal a base. If he's not using his legs to help the Phillies, what's he bringing? Really, what's he bringing? And it's tough because I agree with John. This team's going to get old real quick. They got to figure something out to try and get some new blood in here.
Guys, I'm going to try something, and I want you to just say gone or stay. I'm just going to name a name, and I want each of you to say it. So Estevez.
Gone.
Gone.
Hoffman.
Gone.
Stay.
I'm stay with Hoffman. I was gone with Estevez. Hayes.
Gone.
Ranger Suarez.
Stay.
On the
I'm on a
fence.
gone. Yeah, I'm on a gone with him.
And I think you could put him in the bullpen if need be.
Yes.
I think he could pitch
he
out of the
has done
bullpen.
it. He has done it.
So I'm a stay with him.
Sosa.
Stay.
How about Stubbs?
Gone.
Yeah.
Fuck
Gone.
you, Garrett.
Gone.
So I think we were unanimous on Estevez and Stubbs and Hayes. So I think, those three are ones that we're kind of like considering going. Brandon Marsh.
Gone.
I can't say stay. Sorry. Gone.
Okay. Johan Rojas.
Stay, but fourth outfielder.
I would say stay.
Can I demote him to the Iron Pigs?
I was going to say stay in AAA.
That's why I'm saying, I'm saying fourth outfielder, not starter, just, off the bench, defensive replacement kind of.
Yeah.
Chris has only given us two choices, so I'll say stay.
That's it. Yeah. I mean, I want to be very black and white on this one. Are you guys what's your most glaring need? And I'm just going to go around. Chris, what's the most glaring need? If you have the money and you could only do one thing, what would you do?
I think they need two outfielders. I think you got nothing out of center field and very little out of left field this year. You can't win like that. I I was just looking at the playoff stats for any outfielder not named Castellanos. They hit 080 in the playoffs, 2 for 25 with 7 Ks. It's nothing. You need to find a guy that can come in there that can play solid defense and make fucking contact. They need to mix in some contact hitters with these big swing guys. You can't have 9 guys swinging from their ass. It just doesn't work. So I think outfield is this team's biggest need. And we talked about it a little bit last night. Even if they went out and said, hey, we're going to bring in another first baseman, and Harper moves back out to the outfield. That's an immediate improvement to the outfield as long as you get a decent first baseman in here.
Yeah.
So I'd be willing to even do it that way. Bring in a bat, to play first and move Harper back in the outfield, assuming he can do it physically with his arm and all that. Yeah,
So, Chris, I'm going to translate that for you. You want Harper to go back to right. You think
I know.
Nick can go to left.
Yeah,
And you want Pete Alonso at first base.
I knew where you were going with that. Yeah. I knew that was coming.
Can I ask Dugan a follow-up question?
Yeah.
Of course.
So, do you think you said, I'll paraphrase, but you said you needed some contact guys to come in with these guys that hit the ball out of the ballpark, right?
Yeah.
Do you think that Whit Merrifield kind of fell into that category as a contact hitter, get on base kind of guy, steal some bases? And maybe my most glaring need was hitting coach / approach coach. That maybe when he came in here, something changed in the way he was led to believe he should play, and that caused him to maybe fail in Philadelphia. Question mark.
It's possible. I mean, he wasn't great in Atlanta either when he got to play. I mean, he did better than he did here, but he wasn't Whit Merrifield of the last 3-4 years. I think with him it could play a part. Maybe they tried to change something in his swing or approach. But I think being a part-time player rather than playing full-time really hurt Merrifield, not getting everyday at bats. But yeah, I mean. Yeah, a Whit Merrifield type from 3 years ago is what I would love to see them bring in this line. A guy that's only going to, he's not going to hit a lot of home runs, but he's going to hit for high average and be able to steal some bags, create some havoc on the bases. Like, that's the kind of guy I think they need. And I think that allows you, as good as, we've all argued about Schwarber batting leadoff, but if you bring a guy like that in, now maybe you can move Schwarber down the lineup and he could be protection for Harper. He can protect Harper. And now you have a leadoff guy on base that could steal bases and Turner batting second. You could do a little more things with the hit and run and speed wise that you can't do with Schwarber leading off. But we'll see. The game's played different. They look at different things than what us old heads think is important.
John, you've been vocal against Stubbs, and we all think he needs to be replaced. Do you want to go outside the organization? Or do you think Marchand is the bridge to the future of, who's taking over for, JT? Is that Eduardo Tate? Is that your boy Jordan Disson? Are you going outside to get the backup, or are you letting Marchand take the reins?
Marchand showed me, a couple of years ago when he had to come up and fill in due to injury, he showed me enough. But this year, he showed me he was better than Stubbs. He's younger. He can handle a staff. He can hit a little better than Stubbs. I think he is the backup next year, and I want him as the backup next year. And he is the cheaper. I don't know how much. I guess he's a little cheaper than Stubbs, but you don't have to go outside. And I looked at the free agent market on catchers. It's all old fucking Crash Davises, dude. It's like everybody's like 31 and up. Like the best available options are out of the whole crop, I would say, is Gary Sanchez and Danny Jansen. And it's like you're just getting an old guy to fill in for an old guy. So I see Marchand as the backup, and he has to catch the minimum of 60 games next year, maximum of 70. JT cannot catch more than 100 games max next year. And
is anybody scared that Marchand has a paper asshole and he's going to just get hurt?
Yes.
Yeah.
There's that too. But Tate is very young. He's not going to be up for a while. Disson's not ready for probably. And I love the kid, and he's grinding hard. He's in fall ball right now. Just had his first hit. He was throwing people out like crazy yesterday in his first game. And he might, if you want to watch something real quick, quick plug, Saturday in the fall ball league, he's probably going to catch Andrew Painter, so that'll be cool. But he's not ready for at least a couple years until after JT's gone. So I'm hoping that Disson's ready to come up by the year after JT's gone. But yeah, the crop of backups is very slim, and it's just old guy filling in for old guy. But
Yeah.
see what.
So, Mike, I'm going to throw some numbers out there, and this surprised me, and I just want to get your reaction. And we didn't talk about this beforehand. From the first half to the second half of the season, the Phillies batters were only 0.04 of a point better. So 255 after the All-Star break, 259 before. However, the team ERA was 1 point higher, 3.41, 4.49. We're always kind of yelling at the offense, but did the pitching fail us? Is 4.49 reasonable?
So we were pitchers, right?
Yeah.
I remember three out of four of us, I think. I remember, going out and battling. And when it was a really tight game, you kind of try and be as perfect as you possibly can because your offense isn't supporting. Maybe that's because their pitcher's having a great game. Maybe it's because our hitters are chasing or not, having their best game. But as you do that over and over again, we didn't used to call it, but high leverage situations, you make a little bit more mistakes and you give up a little bit more runs, I think. So have we not been too critical of the pitching? I don't think so. I think we've been pretty critical along the way. But the most glaring piece is that we didn't hit the ball when we had runners in scoring position. We didn't play in really tough spots the way we think baseball should be played. And we for sure tried to hit home runs at an alarming rate. So I don't know, to answer your question. I think we were pretty critical of pitching when it was warranted, but I also the pitching specifically in the bullpen in this playoff series was I'll say atrocious. But I don't know if that answered your question, but that's how I'm feeling in the second half.
Yeah, I was just surprised because the numbers were so close. It's not a great disparity, and
I think
games.
I think I can give you a couple reasons why that ERA went up too in the second half. I mean, if you look at it, Ranger in the first half was out of his freaking mind, and you had Turnbull in the 5 spot who was pitching really well.
Yep.
So then you go in the second half, and Ranger was getting lit up like a Christmas tree, and you had the revolving door in the 5 spot with Walker, Allard, Phillips, Manny Mo and Jack, whoever the fuck they brought in to pitch, in that 5 spot. So I think, Ranger came back to earth and, even worse, than back to earth. He was in outer space with his ERA after he came back from injury. Even Sanchez had a little bit of a regression because he was really good early, but he still had a great season, Sanchez, he kind of fell back into a normal, his normal spot. But I think Wheeler was good all year. Nola, I mean, like Mike's stat the other day, that 50% or more of his runs were scored on home runs. I mean, if the guy doesn't give up home runs, he doesn't give up runs on most nights, So he pitched well. Sanchez pitched well. I think it was really Ranger and that 5 spot that, and then you had a couple of those blow ups in the bullpen with a Marte or a, Nick Nelson or, one of those types of guys that came in and would throw his shit, shit in here or there. But the pitching was pretty solid all year. Obviously, they let us down in the playoffs, but.
So I'm going to go to some comments, and then we're going to kind of turn the page a little bit and kind of talk about management and the coaching. So just kind of keep that in your eyes. So Kelly thinks Bohm stays. I just don't agree that he stays or can. But, I think it's one of those things. Turner's 40 when he's done. I think Turner's 41 when he's done, actually. So it's very close. Let's see. Harry, the KC series is where he had to be consoled by Harper in the dugout. Was all I needed to see. This team was coming out of its funk and winning, but he was crying because he was not contributing. Not a team first guy. And I think that's an important point that we kind of have to think of here, because when you think of like a team guy, I don't know many of the guys on the team that I would say are a team guy, honestly. And maybe that's something that we can talk about. So we're going to see Nancy on the Philly show. Zalecki, Salisbury, Amaros said to put Turner in left. Nancy, why are you watching other shows? That's the first thing I'm going to ask.
Yeah.
I don't like that. No,
and one with Ruben.
Yeah. Did Ruben tell a long story beforehand?
I'm sure that Ruben had a whole. So here's a question: do you think JT at this point should be the backup, or a split situation where it's 80-80 roughly? Are we there yet with this?
He's still got the pop time. He's still a really good defensive catcher. It's his bat that's kind of leaving him. I just don't think he's a middle of the order hitter anymore. He's probably more of a 7, 8, 9 guy.
Agreed.
But I do think you have to keep him fresher, because his defense, you're going to ride him in the playoffs. He's going to catch every night. And I think you have to do a better job of keeping him fresh during the season.
I'd say closer to the 8th and 9th.
Now we got Benedict Arnold Molds.
What is going on here?
Jesus.
The mush.
Yeah, I'm upset about this. Now,
Steve,
I'm sure it's good info. So the more info
We
you
love
have
you.
supporting the Phils, I'm sure Zalecki is smart. Salisbury, I'm sure that he's smart for an old guy. And Amaro, I'm sure I'm sure.
His sister's nice.
I'm sure he talks a lot.
Yeah.
I love his
I'm
sister.
sure. Yeah. So, guys, I went into the game last night thinking that I wanted Topper to go. I came out of the game knowing I did, and I'm going to tell you why. And I want to hear everyone's point. Is this guy staying or going? I cannot imagine sitting there in the dugout on your hands when that Bohm play happened. It obviously was a fair ball. It can't be reviewed. So, he's only worried about, going like this. I would have walked out there and snapped the fuck out. He didn't do anything. He showed no fire. He showed no emotion. He just kind of let it go. I cannot have that. I just felt like that was a moment where, is this dude just like everyone's friend and he doesn't want to upset the umpires? He doesn't want to upset Bryce. I want someone in here where I'm going to touch on this one, guys. I think someone else comes in and, remember at the beginning of the season, we win when Kyle Schwarber's there. What do we win? A regular season game? He stunk in the playoffs. He fucking stunk too. If we go down the line of who stunk, it's everyone except for Wheeler, Harper, Castellanos. I thought Suarez stunk too. You can't have a whip of close to 3 and still say you're good.
Yeah.
Everyone else stunk. Suarez got lucky, but I don't understand why he didn't go out and fight for his team. He's just apathetic, listless. And then, I agreed with sending Hoffman out that second inning, but when he's not been able to throw a strike, he's done.
Yeah.
So, guys, Chris, where are you with him? Is he gone or not?
Yeah, I mean, I think I said this to you last night. I think the team has taken on his personality where there's no fire, there's no passion, there's no, I mean, it's like, Yeah, you see the emotion from Bone, but that's pouting. That's not the emotion I want to see. I want to see anger and fire and we're going to play this game with our hair on fire for 9 innings. And how many goddamn games do we look up? It's the sixth inning and they got 2 hits and no runs. It's every fucking night. It's every night. There's no fire from the beginning. You would think you're playing a playoff game against your big rival in the division. There's a lot of bad blood. Schwarber leads off the game with a fucking home run. You go, oh shit, we're putting up 12 today. And they didn't score another fucking run until the ninth inning. And they didn't do shit offensively. And I think it's the personality that Topper has, and the team has adopted it, where he's on his hands. Like you said, he should have been out. He should have got thrown out of that game last night.
100%.
He should have got thrown out of that game arguing that call. Whether it works or not, but I think you can go back in every series the Phillies have lost the past 3 years, and you can see decisions that Topper made that had a direct impact on the outcome of games, positive or negative. And I think we're way more negative than positive. I think he stayed with his pitchers too long in a lot of these games, or took them out too early. Wheeler in the World Series. I think he, playing with the lineup after winning Game 2 and coming out with Sosa and Hayes in Game 3 in this series, I thought that was a crime. It's panic. You had all the momentum winning that Game 2, and you changed your lineup. And I hated that move. And not that I like Marsh as a player, but I would have rolled out with the 9 guys that won that game.
Yeah.
Won Game 2. And then he panics. And so in Game 3, they weren't good enough to face a lefty, but in Game 4, they were. So it's like, come on, man. What is it? Are you following analytics or are you not? You can't be half in and half out. You do what you do. And I thought he managed scared. I thought he made bad moves with some of the pitching decisions. Like I said, like you said, Hoffman, first batter got on, he should have been out of that game.
Yep.
That inning was the game right there.
Yep.
He brought Estevez in a bad spot, and he makes a bad pitch, and Lindor, does what he does. And, credit to Lindor. He got a pitch and he hit it. But I think Topper, as many good things as he's done for the Phillies, he's not the guy to get them over the hump.
So,
Okay.
No, go ahead, John.
I don't want to forget about Scott's comment here. So, John, that's what I was going to ask you is like, what were the other panic moves you felt? Because he didn't play Rojas in Game 4, and he was 5 for 9 off Quintana. The only guy who hit Quintana in the whole fucking lineup.
Yeah. And they were saying that on morning radio too. Like, I hope Rojas is in the lineup because he's one of the only guys that has hit him well. And then he don't put him in. Like Dugan said, I would have rolled. I was expecting 110,000% the same lineup as Game 2. What won you that game? You roll it out and see what happens. Then you adjust. Then you make adjustments. But Topper's not that dude. I hate to spill some tea and tell the truth here, but there's a dude out there in our division that pays attention to he's quoted as he'll listen to the analytics, but he will not let it affect his lineup. Atlanta, Snedeker. He'll listen to the analytics, but he won't base his lineup off of it. I think Topper's too, little spreadsheet happy. Oh, well, this guy hits on a Tuesday with the clouds better than Wednesday with the fucking summer solstice. Like, just stupid shit.
Yep.
Like, so, I don't know what else to say, but I mean, Dugan was right. He hit it on the nail. You roll out your best 9 instead of just juggling shit.
Mike, can players today, to Amanda's point, can they withstand this heat of a fiery manager?
I mean, you would hope so, but I've also managed millennials and whatever the new generation is, and sometimes they can't. And the difference is these guys have contracts, and they have endorsement deals and all that stuff. And I agree with Amanda. I think that's what's missing here. Like, I was thinking while you guys were talking, how long was Topper a bench coach? Like 29 years or something like that?
Yeah.
Like that's his groove, right? He's the backup guy to the main guy. He's the guy that, runs the schedule and has the spreadsheet and advises the guy who's the guy that does what Amanda's talking about when the lineup needs it, when someone like Bohm is acting like a prima donna, or you have someone who's not following the team approach, to get in their ass. So I agree with Amanda.
And Kyle, he wants Don Mattingly, since his son is here. I kind of want to, resurrect someone from the dead and like have them come in, because I don't know if there's guys like this anymore. Do you know what I mean? I want like Earl Weaver, like just someone who's smart and fiery and angry. And I just think that that's like not a thing anymore. We also have, I think it was Fred wants to know if Tortorella can coach, because he's probably what they need, like that type of guy.
We just missed out on somebody too. We just missed out on Tito. Tito he's going to take the Reds to the playoffs next year.
Can I talk about Tortorella for a second?
Yeah.
That guy's a master. That guy's a master. So his MO everywhere he goes is piss off the media, so that they are just on him like flies on shit, and they leave his players alone, and he directs the commentary on what the media says about the team, and the players go and play the game. And I think that's why the players put their head through a wall for that guy, because he takes the heat wherever he's gone, and especially over the last couple of years with how challenging, we'll say, the Flyers outcome has been. So it'll be interesting to see how they do this year.
Guys, like we're getting to that point in the podcast here, so I kind of want to ask one last question, and then we're gonna kind of sum it up. Did we get beat by a better team? Is the first part of the question. The second is, who's your LCS? What's your LCS predictions? So, Chris, could you take that first?
Yeah, I think are the Mets a better team than the Phillies? No. Were they the better team over these 4 games? Fuck yeah, they should have swept us. They were better every game of that series. I think if game 2 they were the home team, they would have scored in the bottom of the inning and won that game. That's just the way they're playing right now. So they were the better team in the 4 games, but I don't think they're the better team overall. Who do I think? I think it's going to be. I think the Dodgers are going to get it done. I didn't before the series, but they've showed me something in this series. The Dodgers, they got a lot of fight in them. So I think they take it, and I think they beat the Mets in the NLCS. I don't know what's going on in the game now. I don't know if anybody has it on. I don't know if it's over, if Detroit's advanced or not, so I don't want to sound like an idiot. But I think Detroit wins that series, and I think they'll play the Yankees, and I think the Yankees win it. So I got the Yankees and the Dodgers in the World Series.
It's 2-2 in the bottom of the 6th.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, Mike,
I can go next. I think the Mets are not a better team, but they were in a better place manager-wise and approach-wise, and that's why we lost. I think the Padres win with Darvish versus TBD. I get really
TBD pitched a shutout. TBD pitched a shutout the last game.
Yeah, well, TBD makes me anxious in a deciding game. So I think the Padres get it done, and clearly they'll face the Mets. I also like the Tigers to beat the Guardians, and play the Yankees over Kansas City in that NLCS. We'll talk about, I guess, World Series matchups later on, but I'll preview. I think they're going to be taking a train in between games.
Yeah, I got
That's a long ride from Detroit to San Diego, man. On a train.
It's
That's
Mets
a long
Yankees,
train
bro.
ride.
Mets Yankees.
whoever comes out of the West, whether it's the Padres or the Dodgers, are smoking the Mets in 5 games. The Mets are winning 1 game, and that's it. The Mets are going to Met finally next round. We were hoping it was going to be this round, but they were the better team. Are they a better team than us? I'm going to answer the question. Fuck no. But they were hot at the right time, and they were the better team this series against us. I hate to admit it, but it's still fuck the Mets. But whoever comes out of the West is smoking them in 5 games. I'm calling it right now. And I'm hoping I always love the underdog, Detroit and KC, but it ends here. I think the Guardians are going to win this game tonight, and Guardians over Yankees.
So I think the Mets are by far the better team than the Phillies. Up and down the lineup, they have Pesky, Savvy, Moxie, Smart, Sparkplug, and it's not close. It's really not, guys. Their offense is so much better than ours, and they supposedly only have 4 pitchers. Their 5 pitchers are better. Every one of them, their 1 through 5 are better than every one of our guys except for Wheeler. Every one. I don't see it.
I could beg to differ, but
Yeah.
Who?
I'm telling you, Sanchez is a good pitcher, man. I think he's as good, every bit as good as Quintana.
Yes.
I don't think you could take the Phillies sucked. The Phillies sucked, dude. They chased all day. I think when they run into a team like the Dodgers or the Padres that are going to make them throw strikes, you're going to see those guys are going to get fucking smacked around. They're going to get smacked around. I think they were good against the Phillies because the Phillies are undisciplined hitters, and they knew it, and they took advantage of it. Not to say they're not good pitchers and that they aren't effective, because they are.
Yeah.
But I don't think they're better than the Phillies pitching. I don't think they are. And I think the Phillies hitters made them look a whole hell of a lot better than they actually are.
They're good at doing that. Yeah. I just. It's maybe it's one of those things where you're angry, but I don't see it, and
the Mets are good. The Mets are good, and it sucks to admit it, but they're good.
How about Tom? The Mets don't have better players; they have a better team. There's a difference.
Well, that's the question, right? But we were kind of like then talking about the the actual players. So I want Detroit to play the Padres. That's what I want. And it's tough because, I almost want to say you want the Mets to win it all because then we got beat by the best, right? But I can't do that. It's that's not happening, guys.
Yeah.
Well, I think they have a better built team, and maybe it's like a smarter team, and in the moment they were playing better. But I would probably, if I had that choice, I'd want Quintana to pitch over Sanchez. I would. I'd probably want Peterson to pitch over him. Severino, I would. I just think if Sanchez is now our number 2 guy, which that's up and down, but we've let Nola off the hook this whole time. Nola was terrible. I know that when we say that, people are like, "Oh, he only gave up 4 runs." He was terrible. He wasn't good all game, and he gave up the bombs, and he got what he got, and none of us were surprised at Nola being Nola. And again, it's like the tough part of all of this to me is like we have Turner for 9 more years. We have Nola for X more years. It's like, oh my God, like what the fuck? So I want to wrap it up. And I'm just going to kind of say something before everyone kind of goes into their final piece. We're going to go to every other week, and because that makes sense to us right now. There's not as much going on. If something happens, we're going to kind of jump in. So just so you know, like we're going to go to every other week as opposed to weekly. So I wanted to say thank you for all the guys that are on here, and Sig and Rob for like being on every week, dedicating your time to this, growing the DPF brand and words. I think that it's we have 1,000 other things to do. We're parents and husbands and You know, it's a lot. So it's the off season for us a little bit too. We still post a ton. It's still daily posts. It's just that we can kind of come on and we don't want to regurgitate the same stuff if something's happening. We're going to kind of figure that out. Maybe have recurring segments, and we're going to have guests. So the other thing I wanted to say is we were going to have a guest on today, but it was decided by the group here that it's not the right time for this. So she is the person that's in that video that says, "Welcome to Philadelphia, fuck you." She has a great story to tell. It's a surprising story. It kind of tells how that clip manipulates things and you think she is something that she isn't, but she's going to be on next time with us, which is going to be October 23rd is going to be our next podcast. Tune in. It's a great story. I think it's going to change everyone's minds. And I was very surprised at what actually happened. So going around the horn, John, what's your final comments?
3 very quick things. I won't be long. First of all, I won't say your last name, but shout out to Jen. My status the other night about, the uncle at Christmas not bringing the fucking toys. You said you would fall over dead if they pull out a win in Game 4. And then I put a funny GIF under your comment that said "Forever in our hearts." I apologize. We at DPF are glad you're still here. But if the Phillies had won that, your sacrifice would not have been in vain. So we appreciate your fandom. Second of all, don't forget, as Chris said, we will be on every other week in the off season, unless we have a guest or an event happens or something. And don't forget the other pages that we have run by our fine gentlemen, Drunk Flyers fans, Drunk Union fans, Drunk Eagles fans, and Drunk Sixers fans. It's run by a combination of all of us or some of us or whatever. So please tune into that. It's the same family. And during the off season, we will continue to bring you whatever humor, sarcastic humor, things about life or whatever, missing baseball, such and such on the DPF page. We do not take off. We were 365, 24/7. We will be here in a few months in the all season. And last but not least, I just want to say I want to thank all our people out there, our viewers, our close friends of the page that tailgate with us, other groups, other fan pages like Fandemic Crow and such. I personally, and I know the other fellas have enjoyed gathering with you at tailgates, coming up to see you in your seats or sitting together at games. We appreciate the support and love and making new friends along the way. And we're continuing to grow, and I hope we grow even more in the off season and going into next season as well. We appreciate your support, and we love you. And as always, fuck the Mets.
I can go, Dugan.
Okay.
This always blows me away, guys. Mike Townsend, thanks for a great year. Harry, thanks for what you do. Scott, thank you, #DPF. Philip, thank you, guys. Amanda, y'all are great. Thanks for battling through the season with us. Justin, good shit, fellas. We'll be back next year grinding it out. Mold wants me to bring back a dumbass. I'll get to it. Don't worry. But you get my point here. We should be thanking you guys. Thank you guys so much for allowing us this platform. We hang this podcast up every time we do it, and we talk about how much fun we had. And the year was bittersweet. It was sweet for a long time, and it ended bitter. And we're a little dejected, and we're probably going to get mad here in the next couple weeks. And hopefully some really good changes will come along. But thank you to everyone who follows us. Thanks for coming up and taking pictures and supporting the page through merchandise and our charitable events, and more of that to come pretty soon. So just wanted to say a big thank you to everyone that follows Drunk Phil's fans, hashtag DPF cares. And if you're 45 years old, please go and get a colonoscopy. It could probably save your life. Dugan.
Yeah. So my book came in the mail today. Sean Selby, he was a guest of
All
ours a
right.
couple weeks ago. No one likes us, but we do care. Thanks for the Phillies for getting knocked out a little early. I can start reading this book now. So I just wanted to, promote Sean here. Thanks for coming on. But I want to echo what Mike said. This was a really good year for us at DPF. We picked up a ton of new followers on the page. We had our first ever DPF night down at the ballpark, which I think was hugely successful. Along with that, we continued our charitable work. We donated money this year to the Battle Brothers, to animals, to paws, to Betts Triples. We've donated money all year, which is something that we're proud of. And are talking about future opportunities to do that same charitable work that we all enjoy and that means so much to us, and given to organizations that mean a lot to us personally and affect people that we care about. So we want to thank everybody. We couldn't do that without your support for buying our merch, for participating on the page. So thank you to everybody. We love doing this. That's the one thing Chris and I always talk about. When it stops being fun, that's when we're going to stop doing it. And so far, it just gets more and more fun every year. So I don't think we're going to be stopping anytime soon. So thanks for everything. Thanks for watching this podcast. This has been, we're doing it on our own. And I think we've really found our groove, and this has gotten better and better the more often we've done it. It's fun talking to these guys. It's fun interacting with everybody. It was just a great year. And like Chris said, we're going to continue into the off season, and we'll be ready to go spring training.
Awesome. It's overwhelming to me when I see the post where we're kind of like, hey, the season's over. We're sad. Thank you. And then we get these messages and these moments, and the ones that stick out, which are, I read all of them, I think all of us do, are the ones that say, like, I wasn't that much into baseball, but you guys made it a lot more fun, or now I'm into it. Like, God, I love baseball. And hearing that, like, just makes me overwhelmed that I could have a part of that. Like, we always said we invited Harry and Whitey into our homes. You do that with us, and that's like the biggest compliment. We're very proud of that. And I love seeing those messages and comments. The other thing I want to clear up is I hate Pete Alonso. I don't like him. Chris Dugan doesn't like him. All I said was I thought he was going to win the RBI title. He did not win the RBI title. I hate this guy. You know what? I don't hate Lindor. I may like Lindor, even though he did what he did to us, because I just think he's classy. He could have been an asshole, and he just kind of went and did it like he's done it before. So, fuck Pete Alonso. I don't want him here. And fuck the Mets, even though they beat us. And I thought that they were a better team, and I want their whole pitching staff, apparently. So October 23rd, we're going to be on. We're going to reveal this person's name, but it's the Welcome to Philadelphia, fuck you. And she has a great story to tell. So thanks for tuning in. Have a good night, everyone. And as always, fuck the Mets.
Fuck the Mets.
Thanks, everybody.
Fuck the Mets.
Fuck Grimace, too.